What's up guys, and welcome to another video. If you've been following me on social media recently, you'll have seen that I've been upgrading my own machine. This is the machine here. In particular, I've been upgrading the case and the motherboard in preparation for the Ryzen 5000 processors and really to give the system a bit better cooling. Now, along with the case and motherboard, I decided to upgrade the cooling system, but unfortunately after a couple of orders that kind of fell through, I didn't manage to get it for when I originally built it. So I've done some more ordering, managed to actually get one now, and this is the one that I've managed to get. This is the Master ML240R RGB, and it's going to be replacing what I currently use, which is this one, which is the Master Liquid ML240R RGB. Now, RGB wise, the differences in these are RGB to ARGB, so I'm hoping that along with the extra cooling I'm going to get some better aesthetics for the machine. So stick around and we'll go through some of the features, some of the cooling that it provides, and we'll see what kind of difference it makes. So the machine I'm upgrading is my own personal gaming rig, which is this one. Specification wise, it's a Ryzen processor, a Ryzen 5 3600 to be exact, with a Gigabyte Radeon RX 5700 XT gaming OC. It's a pretty reasonable middle of the road machine nowadays. The motherboard that I upgraded to was an Aorus B450 Pro motherboard, which has got a lot of extra features. It was an ATX format, which meant the new case had to come along. And cooling wise, it's not been a problem, but I wanted to make sure that going forward I've got enough room for some upgrades. So going from the ML120 to the ML240 made sense. So what we'll do is, we've already taken some benchmarks off this machine in terms of temperatures, running through on Cinebench R23, and we'll get this fit in and we'll see what difference it makes. Before we start fitting, we'll go through some of the features that you actually get. So branding wise, the box for the Master Liquid ML240R is very similar to everything that you get from Cooler Master. Open up the box. I'll put this one down. It's a very similar system to the ones that I've had before, but without the RGB. There's a set there, which is actually one of the Master Liquid lights, which is pretty much exactly the same radiator, but there's a few cool features that this actually gives you. I have had this out of the box, but it's been packed away since. So you obviously get your radiator and the pump all attached together with some nice braided cables, which makes a real difference from the old Master Liquid light versions. You get enough connections and CPU fittings to be able to fit pretty much any CPU on the market, really, all the way from AM2 up to AM4, and from Intel socket 775 to up to the LGA 2011. So you get everything that you need there. Being the ARGB system, obviously you get extra cabling for your ARGB cables. So it's got ARGB fans as well as the cooler, so you need to hook that all up, and they give you a lot of splitters and cables to do that. As well as that, they do provide an extra controller. Now these controllers are quite expensive on their own. I think you'll find they're about £20 to £25 if you buy them from eBay, if you just buy them singly, but I'm going to be using the motherboard to actually control that because I've got ARGB on board. Apart from that, you also get two fans. Now these fans as well are ARGB, and they light up from the centre, cascading out. So that's all the kit that you get with it, as well as your instruction manual, and that's about it. So what we'll do is we'll take a look at the pump first. So the pump on these is a little bit different to what you get for others because of the ARGB. But when I was researching this, I couldn't find much information about actually the orientation of the pump. Now, because of the way that I've got my system hooked up, as you can see at the moment, the Cooler Master logo is upside down. So it's not really that you can actually orientate it any other way. But with these ones, they've actually thought about it. So in the center of the pump, you've got the Cooler Master logo, and where the LEDs will all light up around, but they give you the ability to remove it and turn it round. Now it's not very pretty when you don't have the cap in, and I have seen on some of the websites that people have actually remade some of these with different logos, which is probably something I could do with a 3D printer later. But all in all, being able to actually rotate this is really good for my build, particularly the way that I've got it set up. Now, because of the height of my memory, I have had to fit the AIOs in the front. Now, I've not seen any thermal issues with the graphics card doing this, but I have seen an actual drop in thermals on the CPU. So if you look around, you'll find guides that actually explain the reasoning why this, but I'm going to stick with that and actually mount this up front. Cabling wise, you still get a 3-pin power for the pump to be able to provide that 12-volt constant feed. And you also get the ARGB connector, which will go with one of the splitters into the controller with the fans if you need to. So now we've had a look at some of those features, what we'll do is we'll get this built into the system, we'll run some more tests, and we'll see what difference it makes. So to actually change this over, it didn't take a lot at all. It took me about 2 or 3 minutes to drop the old one out, drop the new one in, wire everything up. I haven't actually connected the front fans to the RGB because I don't generally want them on, but looking at the system, it works really well. What are the positives? So aesthetically, it looks a lot better. It really does highlight the CPU in this one, and the colour schemes can actually blend in with everything else, which is a little bit different to the other systems because the ML140R is just RGB, so it can't actually do the fancy unicorn puke as people call it. Temperature wise, we did actually see a good drop in temperature. We actually run it through a Cinebench test, and that was all cores, multi-core test. The maximum temperatures on the ML120 were 61.6 degrees, and the maximum temperatures on the 240 were 56.8, so that's nearly a 5-degree drop, so that's quite impressive as well. The negatives of this system, Cooler Master aren't really known for the quietest of fans, unfortunately. I noticed this on the 240 Lite that I've got. The fans can get really noisy when they actually ramp up to full speed, and it's no different on this one. It's as if they haven't really changed the design of the fans much at all. The same sounds are there on the ML120, but because it's a single fan, you can't really tell it's not that loud really. But with the 2 fans, it is quite loud. I can imagine going for a 3 fan, it would be even louder. All in all, I'm impressed with the thermals, I'm impressed with the looks, and also the piping is much more flexible on this one. So I managed to actually route it under the memory this time instead of over the top and down. So that's all good signs as well. Would I recommend this system? I think for the money, it is a good system. So it cost about £99 and that's delivered in the end. So it's not too bad as an AIO cooler. There are lots more really expensive ones out there. What I might do is actually replace those fans with something like a Noctura 120mm fan so I can get it really silent. But apart from that, it's quite good. Now, if you own one of these, make sure you hit me up in the comments below. Let me know if there's anything I need to look out for. Let me know what your experience has been with it. If you like the video, make sure you give me a like and make sure you subscribe for more videos going forward.